What's up, dudes and dudettes? So by now, probably most of you know, I'm in the new Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If you didn't know, now you do. I play the truck driver at the end of the movie. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the entire story of how that came to be, what happened, what it was like being on set. So if that's the kind of stories you guys want to hear, you're in the right place. This journey for me started in November. Wasn't that long ago. The trailer for the movie was already out, and I got an audition for something just called Blaze. A lot of times these productions use code names so that they don't tell everyone what they're auditioning for, so that leaks don't happen. That's basically why they do it. They do it to prevent leaks and spoilers and stuff getting out. So I got an audition for Blaze, and originally I auditioned for the vape store guy. If you've seen the movie, it's the guy where he walks in and says, "Are you the fire master?" And the guy turns around like, "Can't you read the sign?" And then he gets frozen. I didn't know all that. All I knew was I was auditioning for the vape store guy in this movie called Blaze, or project called Blaze. I don't even know if they told me it was a movie. And it said anyone who auditions for this has to agree to a body scan because a big effect was going to be had on them. Now, if you know anything about the strike, that was like the sticking point for the strike. It was like a huge point of contention for the actors, and so I was like, really? This is the first thing I'm auditioning for after the strike? Like this? So I sent an email back to my agents because there was nothing listed in the breakdown as to who was involved, who was directing, producing, starring, nothing. And so I wrote back to them and I was like, what is this? Because it's one of two things. It's either a huge production, they don't want anyone to know about it, or it's completely unorganized and mismanaged, and it's probably not the kind of project you want to be involved with. So, and I wanted to make certain whoever was handling my scan like wasn't going to mismanage it or whatever, especially first thing after the strike. So they had a message for me directly from casting, and it said, "We can't tell you what this is. What we can say, because it's a secret project, is that it is a major movie franchise and it's the 5th in the series." And I had no clue. Because when you think about it, I don't really think about the 2016 film as being in the same universe. And the trailer for the movie was already out, so that didn't even occur to me. I just couldn't think what it could be. As it turns out, they were in the middle of reshoots, and they did a week of reshoots in Atlanta in December. So I didn't find out what it was until I booked it. I did the audition, I improvised some stuff because I could tell it was like a humorous movie, and so I improvised some stuff, and I guess they really liked it because they told me that I booked the role of truck driver. And I was super excited, but I assumed truck driver was a small part. But I was like, I don't care. I just want to be a part of Ghostbusters. That's crazy to me. My manager was like, let's not ask. Let's just take the offer. Let's not try to negotiate because it's an unnamed role. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we signed up, and then the second AD contacted me and told me what day I was going to be shooting. So I went ahead and went to Atlanta to make certain I was there for my fitting and so forth. On the way up, I'm talking back and forth with the AD, the second AD, and I said, can I get sides for this? And if you don't know what sides are the portion of the script where you're in it, so you know that you're going to be filming the next couple of days so that you can go ahead and do your homework and work on the scene. And she said, there's no sides for this. We're not giving one any sides because we don't want leaks. And I was like, okay, how do I go about memorizing my lines and stuff? She's like, I can text them to you if you want. And I was like, okay. And she texted me my lines, which were, wait, stop, that's my truck, hold on, wait, stop, something like that. And I was like, I think I can remember that, probably, maybe. And she was like, consummate professional, I can see. And I was like, yeah, you know, I do my best. And she's like, well, I'll call you and give you the rundown on the scene. And I was like, cool. Let me tell you where my mind is at this point before she calls me. She tells me what my lines are, and so in my mind, I'm thinking, truck driver that loses his truck. I'm thinking I'm like an Amazon delivery driver, and I'm making a delivery, and Paul Rudd is like chasing after some specter or something, sees my truck, jumps in it, dries off, and I'm like, no, wait, please don't. You just see like a blur of me. I could not have been more wrong. But that was what my thought was. Like, I was like, you know, it's probably just the tiniest little thing. So she calls me, and she's like, all right, here's what the scene is. You are the entire after credit scene. And I was like, fucking what? Like, are you shitting me right now? Are you serious? That's fucking crazy. And she was like, have you signed an NDA? I feel like we need to have you sign an NDA before we go any further. And I was like, I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm not gonna post about it. Like, that's just, I was like, I've done Stranger Things, She-Hulk, Cobra Kai. Like, I've worked on secret projects before, but you gotta admit what you're telling me is pretty fucking crazy. And she was like, all right, yeah, no, I totally understand. It is crazy. I'm like, you're telling me that the whole after credit scene, like, people go nuts over those after credit scenes. And that has happened. So, like, it's been written up about at this point in like Entertainment Weekly, USA Today, Screen Rant, The Nerdist. Like, that's what I can think of off the top of my head. Like, it's people going nuts for this after credit scene, which is amazing. I love it. So she goes to describe the scene, and here's what she tells me. She says that basically I'm a truck driver, and I pull up to a truck stop. And if you haven't seen the movie, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. So I pull up to a truck stop, and I walk up to a vending machine, and I put money into the vending machine, and unbeknownst to me, my truck behind me starts shaking. And then it starts lurching forward, and then it takes off on its own, at which point they reveal that I am driving the Stay Puft Marshmallow truck. And I turn around and I'm like, hey, wait, that's my truck. I chase off after it. At this point, they reveal it's being driven by a bunch of tiny little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, and then it slams to black. And I am like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is crazy. This is insane. So I go to set, and first things first, I gotta do my fitting. So fitting, I believe, was Monday, and I shot on a Wednesday. The fitting was at Trilith Studios, which used to be Pinewood Studios. And I go there, and they have taken over the entire, like, nothing else is filming at Trilith right now. Ghostbusters has taken over the entire thing, which is just bonkers. And so they send me to wardrobe, and wardrobe and props are in the same building. And I walk in there, and there's just dudes walking around, and I was like, you know where wardrobe is? And they're like, yeah, right through that door, buddy. And I walk through that door, and it's like, I'm talking like a museum. It is every piece of wardrobe. I'm looking at, like, brown suits and red suits and, like, Spangler. Like, I mean, just, I'm looking at this going, I'm not supposed to be here. Clearly, I am not supposed to be here. Let me call an adult. Let's have something like this. I should not be here. So I call the wardrobe lady, and she's like, she comes and finds me, and I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be in here. And she's like, nope, you're certainly not. No one's supposed to see this. And I was like, well, it's been fun, lovely looking at this. She takes me, does my fitting. She tells me it's been amazing working on the set, and that, you know, she got to meet all the cool Ghostbusters. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. So I go to set. I get my fitting. I go to set. When I get there, I'm wearing these glasses, right? And when I get there, it's daytime because we get there several hours before we start shooting. Not several, couple. And when I get out, I'm walking up to set, and everyone's like at the at Crafty, you know, there's like a barbecue basically going on. They're giving out burgers and stuff. I walk up, and everyone's like, he's here. And I was like, oh, who's here? Me? You're talking about me? I was like, how do you know who I am? And they're like, we looked you up. Like, you're number one on the call sheet today. That's crazy. Which I'm not used to. Normally, in my career, when I show up on a set, they're like, all right, buddy, extras are that way. And I'm like, I'm not actually an extra. And they're like, yeah, tell it to the people over there. And then they sort it out later. But originally, because these are transition, originally they wouldn't let me. They were like, we're not certain you can wear those. And I was like, well, unless the lights you're using are going to turn them, like, it'll be nighttime, so it should be fine. So I got to wear my glasses. So in the scene, you see me wearing these, and I feel like I'm the most recognizable I've ever been in anything, because all they did was just rough up my hair and go, all right, you're good to go. Step on out there. Like, there was no makeup on me, no nothing. It's just me. Or raw dogging me to the camera, which was crazy. And I'm wearing like t-shirt and jeans and like a flannel. I mean, aside from like the flannel and the work boots, you know, I looked exactly like I normally do. So on to the filming. When I got there, when I got to set, they wouldn't tell me who was directing. They just kept saying it was Big Man. Now, looking online, I knew it was gonna be Gil, and I was wrong. It was not Gil. Jason Reitman directed me, which was incredible. I got to meet him when I walked up to him for the first time. He had a gold challenge coin that he palmed into my hand when he shook my hand, and he said, "Thank you for being a Ghostbuster." And I lost my mind. He told me that Jon Favreau started passing out challenge coins on his sets, and so he wanted to copy that basically. One side of the challenge coin is all gold, and it is a picture of the firehouse, and the other side is the Ghostbusters logo, and you can see it's like red and blue. It's colored on that side, and you can see some of the gold coming through where the outlines and stuff are. But instead of saying Ghostbusters, it says Firehouse, which was the code name for the movie once you're on set. So when I auditioned for it, the code name was Blaze, and once I got on set, everything said Firehouse, which was incredible to me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is insane. That was the start of it. And he was such a nice guy. Everyone on set was absolutely amazing. I greatly enjoyed my experience. So much fun. But, like, just incredible. That being said, the shoot went phenomenal. I think, if I had to guess, when I got there, I got the work boots that were given to me, and I realized, like, I knew going in I was gonna have to run it to this truck, and I knew steel-toed work boots are not easy to run in. Maybe that was a specific choice they went with for that reason. So I tightened up the work boots, tried running in them, practiced running in them, tightened them up again, and then just practiced running in them. And I think I was a little faster than they expected me to be. So they kept like increasing the length at which I was running. When I was talking to the AD, the second AD, and she told me about this truck, I was like, how are you gonna keep this like under wraps? Like, are you CGIing the truck, or do you have a real truck? And she's like, yeah, we have a real truck. And I was like, how are you gonna contain that? Like, that's a rolling billboard. And she's like, well, it's a close set. We'll have it figured out. There was a McDonald's next to us, and there was a pile of people at the McDonald's. Like, they're filming the new Ghostbusters over there. Like, look at that. That is amazing. You know, like, everybody knew what we were doing. Which was, they had cops blocking off the, like, the different entrances and exits to the truck stop. And as they started to get wider, they couldn't keep the cops there because then they would be in the frame. So the cops had to move, and we did this real wide shot. I'm chasing after this truck, and an Uber full of people comes flying into the parking lot. They're dodging the truck. I like jump out of the way of this Uber as I'm running after this truck. And everyone in the Uber has got to be like, what are we watching? What is happening here? Like, I'm just screaming as I'm running after this thing. Like, it was wild. But they kept, so anyway, they kept like increasing how far I was running, and I'm just going like, does the camera even see me? Where's the camera? Why are they having me run so far? And it wasn't until I watched it, and like my friends are commenting like, that's how you run? That's really, that I realized they wanted me to be gassed. Like, they wanted me to just like, get in the truck. You know, like, I'm wearing steel-toed work boots. They wanted me to look, you know, uncoordinated and slow and so forth, chasing after this truck. And so that, I mean, success. But also, like, the scene wouldn't have been funny if I looked like Usain Bolt running along, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta look like that. So, I mean, It was a dream come true. Like, I still haven't quite processed it. I don't think I'm fully aware of it yet, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm aware I'm in it, obviously. I've gone to see it now 9 times in theaters. I traveled all around seeing it. People go crazy when they realize I'm in the theater with them, which has been a ton of fun. I've signed proton packs. I never thought that was gonna happen. You know, I've signed a bunch of the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. I've taken photos with people. It's a lot of times, because I'm not watching it like LA or, you know, a lot of people are like, I don't really think that's him. Like, there's no way. So funny. But yeah, it's been a blast, man. I mean, I grew up with the 1984 movie and, you know, with the cartoons, and so it's just, I don't know, man, it's absolutely amazing to be a part of it. It's surreal. I've loved every moment of this, and I mean, it's the first time I've gotten to see myself in IMAX and 4DX, you know, and the premium format, Dolby. Like, I don't know when that's gonna happen again. It might never happen again in my career, you know? So it was an absolute honor to be able to, I've come to find most movies don't get IMAX, you know, releases. So I've just been relishing in it and enjoying it and seeing it in as many premium formats as I can. And it's been, I don't know, it's been absolutely surreal. But at any rate, that's my story. If I've forgotten anything or didn't say anything that you have questions about, let me know. Drop them down in the comments. And if you're new here, subscribe. Thank you so much for listening to me ranting and raving about being in Ghostbusters, man. I'll catch you dudes next time.
Love it.